No, okay, let's start so we can just bosh through this in like an hour and a half. Very cool.
Reed Richards is so girthy.
All right, and welcome to episode 8 of the Hexperts Battletech podcast. How to get started playing Battletech, or as the title's called, Let's Get It Started. Your hosts this week are myself, Lewis. We've got Tom over there.
Oh, we don't, apparently.
What?
Oh, apparently.
No.
Hey, I'm Tom. It's me, Tom.
Hello, I'm Tom.
We got Nathan over there.
That's me as well. I'm also Nathan.
Hello.
And we've got Dom, who's covering for Tom, apparently.
Hi, I'm Dom.
Oh, God, this is going to get confusing for people. But yeah, okay. Well, this week, our main section, we're going to be talking about where to get started with playing tabletop Battletech, because even to people who know what's going on, it's quite confusing what to buy and where to start. So let's just have a little chat about where we recommend you get started and what products we recommend you have a look at and start buying first. But before,
first of all, you need the table.
Table is a good start. Put that at number one on the list.
I've usually found a friend or enemy is also pretty good.
Okay, we'll get that on the list anyway. But before we write down the table and friend/enemy, let's get to hobby progress and games played. Myself, I painted up a little cicada. He's a fun little guy. He's not. I don't think he's very good. he's just a fat locust, I think, for my hobby. And games wise, played some Aces because we need to learn how to play that before the expo at the end of May, June, which we'll talk about shortly. Tom, what kind of hobby have you been up to this week?
Oh, well, apart from feeding the people that I have chained in a building somewhere, I have actually been doing some painting for Battletech, mainly because I'm getting ready for the UK Games Expo. So I've just been crying, to be fair, about the amount of stuff I have to paint, because I stupidly agreed to do a bunch of models for the expo, just so we'd have enough stuff. Because we're doing something cool, which we will talk about in a bit, but turns out it's more effort than I originally thought. And I'm really lazy, so it's just rough, honestly. Worries me.
Have you got some colours down them at least? Your big pile of things to get painted.
They're white and green at the moment. I got distracted today. I painted some Yujing for Infinity.
Oh,
so
this is why no dedication.
There is no dedication, and then I've been putting some Star Wars Legion Imperial Remnant onto some bases as well, because I printed some ages ago. I printed some 3D printed Star Wars Legion stuff off. So I've been kind of doing a bit of Battletech, but not like giganto amounts. But that will ramp up.
He's the most butterfly man in the whole of hobby.
I have so many sets of wings; it's unreal.
And Nathan, I'm not sure what you'd have got done, because I think you may have been.
I've not been in the country since like 2 days after we recorded. Literally, it was about like 1 o'clock in the morning, just smashing out the YouTube version of the episode.
He was fleeing the police.
He wasn't fleeing the police. He was visiting.
Sting had no chance of catching me.
Well, I think you were visiting all our fans over in Turkey, wasn't it?
All 0 of them, I think. There might be one. Who knows?
Well, as far as I don't, there's one.
I've been
missing in Turkey. Nathan does not believe in you.
No, you're fake. You didn't show up and give me a hug. I landed at the airport. So
the fans. Nathan get off the plane.
not even like outside the taxi ring. Just like when I got off the plane, just a sign saying Hexpert on it.
Maybe next time you go, Nathan. It's always next time.
Yeah, no, sun, beer, pool, food, as much food as I want, which is
Did you find any Battletech out in Turkey, or
no? The only place I went to is this place called the Land of Legend, which was pretty much just a massive version of Merry Hill. It's like a big.
I've heard Turkish barbers are really good.
I didn't see any barbershops really. There's one in the hotel, and that was it. Which Yeah.
It's French.
I do need a
Shouldn't
haircut.
be
Nathan scared and confused.
I know. I was like, my hair's too long, please. I'm dying in this heat. Ah! Yeah, no, it's great.
Cool. So, Dom, what have you been up to?
What have I been? Good question, Lewis. Good question. This is the thing. You're a very incisive interviewer. I have been playing this little video game called Marvel Rivals. I think it's distracted me from my regular life. It's been really fun. I really enjoy being bad at it and getting punched by Hulk. Other than that, I've been painting a little bit of Marvel Crisis Protocol, which, as you know, is a skirmish-based, Marvel-based, tabletop-based, we've talked about tables already, game system. And I play the X-Men, so I've been painting a Professor X.
I call him Ass Blaster because he looks like he's sitting on a little toilet with someone coming out the bottom.
His name is also Ass Blaster, yeah.
I'm sure we'll get some pictures on the Instagram. I will remember to possibly do the Instagram this week.
We are pro Ass Blaster as well.
Yeah, it looked a very nice, clean model as well. If you
don't call him Lewis
see it.
Ass Blaster last name for no reason.
They don't. Cool. So we've not done fantastically well hobby wise. Well, Tom has. I've done a little bit.
I just haven't been like I've done really well hobby wise, just not in Battletech.
Cool. Well,
Just literally everything else.
hopefully next week we'll be a bit more proactive anyway.
I will not. I'll
You
be a butterfly once again.
Okay, we'll have to get you some written or something. You're like the ADHD player of Battletech, I think. Most ADHD.
I mean, that is Nathan.
He's Nathan, but you're trying to take his title.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's hobby anyway for us and games. News-wise, I don't think there was any news. So do you guys see anything coming up? I've not seen anything in my feeds, and I've not got anything written down for us.
Battletech still exists.
It
Well,
still exists.
I've heard that a certain podcast has hit 100 subs on YouTube. I don't know
Oh
which
wow,
one.
who's that?
Congratulations
It might have been
to
us.
the Mech Bay.
Finally, after 12 years of podcasting. No.
Yeah, congratulations to the Mech Bay podcast. You know, I really, really think that you guys have done well. No, it is actually us. Somehow, people want to listen to us yap about random shit.
I'm surprised you guys are mentioning it. You do know that a lot of our viewers now will unsubscribe to teach us a lesson there.
Please do.
I think
No,
they'll make
please do.
I think they'll make alt accounts so then we can celebrate 200 subscribers next episode.
Oh yeah, the only way we're going to grow our audience is by botting. So
the 50-year-olds that listen to our podcast get their children to make YouTube accounts and subscribe and watch us.
I think my
if you've got children, listen to our really family-friendly podcast, please.
Yeah, I'm worried that my child is subscribed. I probably need to stop that happening.
Maybe. Dom, is your child subscribed?
Oh, sweet child of mine. Have you subscribed? They're not real yet, so...
I've made the homunculus under my bed subscribe.
I knew you gave him a bit more
keeps
food.
asking for like food or something. I don't know what that is. I just zap it with a taser and then it clicks like on more videos.
Don't say it, man, because it's making me think of Smiley Friends. Hello, Daddy. Hello, Daddy.
Please don't say it again.
Yeah, never say that ever again.
It's funnier with the if you had the actual picture in the background, but yeah. Anyway, so there's nothing new, but obviously there are some events coming up. I need to actually look at what events are coming up. Not for the expo, but for the expo though, I know what's going on. That's coming up the 30th of May to the 1st of June. We and the CD team are going to be there doing some cool events in the game hall. A friend of the podcast, Nate, and part of the team are running drafts for War, which is an alpha stroke tournament where you get 3 mechs that you draft. You keep one, pass it across, keep one of the 2, and then I think you keep the 3rd one. You'll play an event with them, get to keep them. I think it's like £20. It's like a real good way to get some salvage boxes, and they should be the new salvage boxes from what I've been told.
They are going to be the new salvage boxes. Long and short of what Lewis has said in a really nice and detailed way. TLDR, 20 quid, get 3 mercenary salvage boxes, and you also get to play some Alpha Strike as well.
But tournament and a cool you might get a cool trophy too, which is really cool.
Potentially, yeah. But yeah, if you want, like, even if you just want 3 random mercenary salvage boxes,
yeah, just come and take them and just leave. Don't do that. You make them upset. You make them sad.
Because I wasn't going to suggest that. I was just going to say, give like 2 hours of your life for a good deal. But no, you can do what Lewis says and say that Lewis told you to do it.
Don't do that. I'll get in trouble. They'll tell me off. Talking of events, you can just turn up and just decide to leave. It's Tom's event next. Where Tom is running a sneak peek Draconis Reach. I suppose I could let you talk about it, Tom, more than me.
Wow, thank you, Lewis. Yeah, I am running a sneak peek Draconis Reach Mercenaries campaign. It's a 3-month contract on Zosha 7, which is cool. So this is from the new Draconis Reach book, which I think is coming out next year. So I've managed to wrangle my very early access for this, which is super cool. I'm so hyped. This is what I've been slaving away on, actually. Cool models so we can do all the missions. There might even be some goodies to people that turn up, but, no promises. And also some cool rewards as well. And I will also be in fancy dress, which obviously is going to get everyone to buy tickets now to see me
in
a cool flight suit.
Oh, okay.
It's a flight suit with the Federated Suns patch on it. So
very nice.
If you want to see that, turn up. If not, stay away.
Don't come.
Don't come. But yeah, that's really what it is. It's cool. It's basically the only time you're gonna be able to see it. I think, unless it's at another expo, it's the only time you're gonna be able to see it before it comes out next year.
Which is pretty cool. Talking of things you won't see for a little bit anyways. I'm running some Aces events where you get to run through some Aces scenarios and try your luck playing against some clan forces in little 2-hour slots for £3. So if you're into Aces, where you get to play against, they say AI, it's card based kind of opponent where you can play solo or co-op against them and see how well you do. And they've got a little fun scenario, or should be a couple, or 1 or 2 at least, where you get to play against some clan mechs on there and see what these cards can do, and they can do some quite fun stuff. Quite surprising things as well. They like to definitely overheat of what we've seen. But yeah, and then lastly, I think Tom L is still looking to do some Alpha Strike. They're called it's a trial of position, where you'll get a mercenaries miniature. I think it's mercenaries miniature for this one. You get to paint that up, and you get to play some intro games of Alpha Strike. I think it's aimed at the younger mech warrior. However, I don't think you can be older and go to it, as far as I know. I don't think there's an age cap. So if you want some mercenaries boxes and you want to paint some mechs and maybe play a little bit of Alpha Strike, that's not a bad one to drop in on. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for what's coming up for the expo, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, that's pretty comprehensive. It's a little bit of a less large thing this year, but we've tried to do the best that we can. We're putting on some cool events, and it's going to be super cool.
Cool,
very cool.
Well, fantastic. Well, like Tom said, we should probably be in the gaming hall anyway. If you want to come past us, there might be some far on demand events as well if you don't get to pick up tickets while there's some available. So come around and say hello to us. And as Tom says, it might be a bit smaller than it was last year, but hopefully, if things settle down next year, it might be a bigger event, and it might get Catalyst to come back down again. But obviously, don't quote us on that. Don't obviously all the crazy stuff going on in the world.
Well, this just might get Catalyst to come back down again.
It's not really up to me.
That's what Lewis just said. So don't quote him on that. But that's what Lewis just said.
Yeah, Lewis did just say that he personally is going to talk to Randall and get Catalyst to come back down.
I mean, he is British Battletech, so he's got the authority on it.
Apparently I do. Yeah, cool. Also, hopefully see you there, and if not, might see you next year. But yeah, after that, like I said, it's a bit quiet in the news, so why don't we have a little look at something that we saw a couple of weeks back, which is the 21st Centauri Lancers Force Pack, which was pretty cool, but we didn't really get a chance to talk about it previously. But let's have a little bit more of a deep dive. Let's have a look. If you want to learn a bit more about the 21st Centauri Lancers, the Mercenary Star Podcast has a big deep dive on them with Seth and Derek on that episode. It's episode 20. I can't believe they didn't make the 21st Century Lancers episode 21, but yeah, I think they did. They do talk through it on the episode that it's a missed bit of a missed trick there. But oh well, cool. Well, this pack it's got 4 mechs. The first mech in the pack is the Stalker 8S. Stalker, which you probably know, or you might not know, is an 85-ton assault mech. Big battle Dorito. This model's got a light fusion engine, a heavy Gauss rifle, 2 ERPPCs, 2 ER medium lasers, and 2 pulse lasers for the cheap price of 2020 BV. Probably won't be firing all those guns every turn, but he's a pretty scary little fella. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but I like the Stalkers. I think they're quite funny little guys. You guys got any comments on that Stalker model or the variant that they've been given on the pack?
I don't like Stalkers. It insists on itself.
What? It's
I need a restraining order against that Stalker.
Oh dear. Well, they do have a habit of being a bit overloaded with weapons and blowing up when I use them, but this one I don't think it can blow up, so it'd be fine.
It's fine, I guess. It's it's just I just think they're boring.
No, it's they're just supposed to be cheap assault mech, which it is. It's just a little triangle with lots of guns. Can't really knock it. It is what it is, and the damage the damage that kicks out as well. I think 25 off the heavy Gauss rifle, 10 off the ERPPCs, and if you start throwing in lasers in there, you're getting quite a lot of damage off that fella. And if someone gets behind you, you can flip those ERPPCs for a little surprise. Which
my god!
Yeah,
it's just going to be slow and kind of boring. It's just turret techy, and I don't love it. But I have bad opinions, so
you do have bad opinions. It's nice to have a variant. Yeah, but I think when it comes out, I think I'll definitely pick one of those up. Especially, I think this is one of the mechs I'm keenest in the pack for me anyway. I like it. After this, in the pack, we've got the Jade Hawk. It's the JHK03 version, I think, which is, as I'll talk about now, I think this is the mercenary version of the Jade Hawk, the one, basically, everyone's favourite Malvina Hazen, Mr. Ching, or Mrs. Chingus, or Miss Chingus, as we say, ordered this mech to be made for the Jade Falcons, and I think this design got leaked out and ended up being available to mercenaries as well as the Jade Falcons. This one, I think, is the mercenary one because it's got quite obvious claws, when I think the Jade Falcon one doesn't have the claws, does it, Nathan?
No, for some reason the one clan that loves having claws doesn't have
claws.
Unless you're obviously in the books where all the writers just give them the 03 anyway, and they never use the Jade Falcon variant.
Their own version.
Yeah, because they get claws.
Yeah, well, this version anyway, the one I think we're going to get in the box, is 75-ton heavy mech. It's running around with a Clan XL engine, jump jets, supercharger, triple strength mimer, and a partial wing, which means it wants to get in front of you quite quickly. But with that triple strength mimer, it can pack quite a punch physically, and also because it's got claws. The range weapons it's got as well, it has 4 ER small lasers and 4 SRM6s. So it pretty much wants to jump in front of you, stand there, cover you in the small lasers and SRMs and start punching you.
Weirdly, it doesn't actually, because the small lasers are in the hand.
In the arms, yeah. So that's true.
So you just drop down, you fire your 2 SRM6s with heat, 2 SRM6s, and then you punch them twice for like 40 damage, I think, something like that.
Super. So you've used this one anyway, haven't you, Nathan? Or not this one particularly? Yeah.
As much as I possibly can, yeah. Because I love the model.
Do you like this model though, Nathan? The preview that we've seen. Is there any problems with it?
I don't know if you could hear Lewis, but I did physically retched when I put it on screen.
It's just a little bit smaller partial wings than on the metal model that you've got. They might be bigger on the production one.
The wings are partial.
Yeah, I think more than anything, I think because this is the jumping mech from the pack, so a 75-ton jumping mech with partial wings takes up a lot of room in the box. So I'm guessing they've reduced the wings a little bit.
Just put the wings separate. I mean, they can put like the little jump pack jet. They can put the little fart cloud separate to the model.
They do look a little bit separate. They might be in the box, but Catalyst or anyone from the team, if you're listening, Nathan, is really not liking these wings. Send them back. Send the boxes back. Get the partial wings
all you
bigger.
literally need to do is just put a peg and a socket on the back, and just put the 2 little pegs on the, because it's literally like a little ball joint where the wings join on the fold out. Just take that off, put the wings to the side of it, because there is quite a lot of spare room on those packages, especially for this is a Lance, isn't it? Not a star pack.
Yeah.
So they take up the same room, Lances and star packs, from what I can at least remember from buying those boxes, which I've brought a lot of, admittedly. But yeah, just use the extra room where you'd either put a pre-painted mech, a random truck, or an extra mech, and just put big old wings there.
I think the problem is that this pack they put a big old plume of smoke there.
Well, I don't know how they're going to be able to make him stand on his own, so I think the plume of smoke is just perma-locked onto him from the looks of it.
There might be a little something they can stand on to make it walk. I think like some of the other ones, I can't remember who's got one.
The Highlander.
Highlander's standing on an urban mech.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a cool looking model. I've not had a chance to use one yet, but it's definitely interesting, and I think it looks nice. Although I can understand having the metal model, the wings on that being a little bit bigger and a bit more intimidating. Having these smaller ones means they won't look as uniform with your current model anyway. Let's look at what's next. We've got the Shockwave. This is the 50-ton Merrick Stewart Commonwealth Met. He's pretty solid, pretty quick as well. Runs at 8 hexes or 86 kilometers an hour, or in proper speeds, 53 miles an hour. Rack 5, ER large laser, LRM-10 with Artemis 4. And there's a version that looks pretty similar as well, which swaps out the ER large laser for a large X-pulse laser, loses the Artemis but gains a heat sink. I think you liked this one last time, didn't you, Tom?
Yeah, this is the coolest mech ever.
The coolest mech ever.
Yeah, like fuck off the Stalker, fuck off the Jade Hawk. I just want all Shockwaves. It's cool. It's not very good. It's like effectively it's really bad because the Rack 5 is just bad. The LRM-10 is fine.
I think he's like a fast Centurion. He's 1453, so he's not too expensive. He'd be good in like one of the mercenary campaigns.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't know what his armor is, but no, to be fair, like he's fine. I think he's really cool. He's very much a mech that I like, but he's not particularly good, it doesn't seem. But I don't really care about that. So pretty cool.
Cool. The model's quite nice looking as well. I think it's
I really like
a winner that way.
Mm-hmm. He's my favourite Transformer.
Have you got any opinions on these mechs so far, Dom? Or
I've got so many.
So many.
Actually, probably too many to describe.
Too many to describe. Okay, we'll keep going then. Lastly, we've got the Shadow Cat. We've already got Shadow Cats before, but this is the Shadow Cat I believe. This variant has 2 improved medium lasers and 2 ER medium lasers, which doesn't sound fantastic. However, those improved medium lasers do 10 damage, so it means each arm is doing 17 damage, which is nothing to sniff at. The torsos then, I think, carry streak SRM6s, right and left torsos. Gets the target computers and gains a double heat sink. This 45-ton mech is 2,408 BV. And has
what?
What do you mean? He's pretty expensive, but he did quite a lot of damage and he's pretty fast.
Yeah, but like you can just have a king crab, hit it twice, and it just evaporates.
Yeah, it's kind of an irrelevant state. Clan mech's just bad.
I don't know. With the mask on this getting up to 12, you can be getting up to 4 TMM.
Oh, yeah, Liz. Let me just take my 3 gunnery guy and hit you on 7s plus range.
It can get around the back and do some damage to some of these mechs. I think he's a pretty solid little guy. I think, especially if you're playing a clan on clan game, I think it's quite a nice little variant anyway.
It's good in tonnage.
Yeah. I think all clans are good in tonnage.
Yeah, just play tonnage the way that they were originally done when they were insanely broken one way, and then play BV2 where they're insanely broken the other way.
And then play BV3 where they finally get balanced correctly and
no. Clans are going to get shafted even further. I've talked to Randall, my crusade against clan warriors, He's nearly complete.
I'll hunt you down. I swear to God.
Okay, well, it seems like you guys are not too keen on this Shadowcat. Then I think he's pretty cool. He's a nice looking mech, and
oh yeah, no, sorry. I think I probably should say I don't like the mech. I love the model.
Yeah.
Like I want to say, like the model's really cool. All of the models that I've seen have been super high quality, especially small partial wing Jadehawks. You know, I think they do an absolutely bang up job. It's just the mech itself. You know, it's not anyone's work. It's just don't like the config, don't like the weapons, don't like the armor, that kind of stuff. So blame the universe, not the actual model maker.
Cool. Well, this pack I think was slated for Q2, but we've not seen much of it. So I've got a feeling it's going to be third quarter of the year, maybe fourth, before we see this.
See you next year.
maybe next year, and it might be a little bit of time before it gets across the UK after that as well. So, hopefully at some point we might see it, but I'm looking forward to it. I think I might pick one up. You guys think you might pick a pack, or this one you're going to avoid?
Lewis, I'm a kleptomaniac when it comes to Battletech. Of course, I'm buying a pack.
Yeah.
I'll paint everything. Just probably will never run the Battle Dorito.
I'll probably skip this one, to be fair. I do like the sound wave, but like...
yeah.
So I'll just gamble for it, to be fair. Or trade it.
Cool. Not the Jadehawk luring you in. Not this one yet, anyway.
No.
Super.
I'd rather canoe to Cincinnati and get one from Ironwind Miniatures in person.
Okay, and Dom, is this pack you're looking at picking up, do you think?
No.
Okay. I've heard there might be like a Professor X like card in the back of it or something for MCP. Like
Professor Extreme Mechs.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, cool.
Captain Bonsai.
Captain Bonsai, indeed. But that's it. That's us before the break. So we'll catch you guys on the flip side. And we're back after the break. So our main segment this week is how to get started in Battletech, because it's quite confusing, especially if you've not got anyone to help you out and you've been at the hobby for a while, or it's your first time getting into the game. There's quite a lot of stuff and product out there. It's not always obvious where to start. So just as a quick recap, we quickly go through where we got started. Kind of just give a quick background to that. I played when I was a bit younger in the early 2000s, mainly with metal rail Parthen models.
The 19th century.
No, 2000s. I'm not even that.
In my day, my opponent was a Triceratops.
Sorry that some of you weren't born. Yeah, I'm actually young in the Battletech circle. But yeah,
Lewis played against death in that black and white film, in that Swedish black and white movie.
I'm not even that old. But yeah, I think a lot of people went away from a lot of war games for a bit and got back into the game with the Game of Armored Combat and just expanded from there. Not physically, but
what's the Game of Armored Combat?
We will quickly go through that shortly, Dom. But not quickly. We'll probably go a bit in depth there. But that we will talk about the Game of Armored Combat. I think that it might be mentioned a couple more times in the next talks, anyway. But Tom, do you want to quickly go through how you got into playing Battletech?
I was held hostage by Lewis until he made me play it, and then I went, "Oh, this is kind of good." Then I bought a Game of Armored Combat.
Yeah,
and I went, "These are kind of neat." And then I think I just went into a fugue state for 2.5 years, as I'm apt to do, it seems. And now I have like 100 to 200 mechs. I'm a Catalyst demo team agent, and I sort of live and breathe Battletech. I think it's the best fucking game that exists.
Yeah,
and despite its flaws, I just love it. It's so good.
So you've seen a bit of a theme here of which boxes that we're starting with, Nathan. Have you got a similar kind of route that you came from?
Yep, I also was held hostage and made to listen about Battletech lore for ages, but it was Lewis' version, so like 90% of it wasn't actually true.
Lies.
But like he's talking about this world of Blake. I don't even know why he said world.
I didn't say
really
world
weird,
of Blake.
But anyway, yeah. So Lewis managed to convince our local game store to stock loot boxes, and I got like 5 loot boxes, and I was like, this is pretty epic. And then for Christmas, I got a clan box, and I was like, hell yeah. And then from there, I've just been buying force packs and been having a good time. I actually haven't brought, I haven't brought a full box.
Yeah,
I don't even have game maps.
Super, which is fine, but that's more what I was asking, just to say, like, there is different. You don't have to follow the same route into the game, but obviously, me and Tom have
I did
follow that route.
I did eventually get the Game of Armored Combat, and I just took the mechs from it and let my mate Billy just have the rest of it.
So you've kind of bought the Game of Armored Combat, but just not kept the bits. You just took the mechs, which is fine.
Yep.
Cool. And Dom, you've obviously not gone too far into it.
What the hell is Battletech?
What the hell was this Battletech? But yeah, I don't know. Have you bought any mechs yet, Dom, or you still no? Okay, we'll get you at some point.
You do. You have the Pack Hunter.
Yeah, I think he has got a Pack Hunter somewhere.
You have Scorn. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, obviously.
Cool. But
I've got a Battletech.
He's forgotten about them. But yeah, so getting into Battletech, as we talked about, there's different ways of getting into there. There's 2 main kind of systems for Battletech: tabletops, Classic or Alpha Strike. As we've talked about previously, Classic, which we're not supposed to call it that. We're not supposed to call it Total Warfare anymore either. I think it's Battletech TM kind of thing now we're supposed to call it, but it's because Classic sounds a bit old and Total Warfare is like one of the older books now. I think they're looking to replace, but I think the official name is Battletech, but a lot of people will understand the Classic or Total Warfare is the hex-based system, a bit more in depth. It's the kind of game where you've got your ammo, your blown off limbs, etc., etc. And then you've got Alpha Strike, which is your more streamlined game. You've got, usually with that system, you can have more mechs. The games are a little bit quicker, and it simplifies things a little bit. Both systems, the mechs are compatible. There's also usually...
Which one's better?
I like both of them, I think.
Classic is by far better.
No, Lewis, I need you to tell me which one's better. No fence sitting. Which one's better? Which is the better game?
Both systems are fine.
Oh my god, this guy sits on the fence. Tom, what's the best
Classic.
system?
Classic is the best system.
Nathan, what's the best system?
Classic.
Lewis, what's the best system?
I lean towards Classic.
Both of them have their qualities. That's what you sound like.
Both of them do have their qualities, but they're both fun. For getting into Battletech, Alpha Strike's not bad, but I think
it's not Battletech. It's Warhammer with mechs.
I think Classic can be a bit intimidating for some with the record sheets, but I think Classic does have that character that we want to get out of the game, I think, and what you want from mechs.
Personally, I think the only thing that could be intimidated by Classic is the Lorax, just because of how much paper you use.
How much paper I use? You guys are on tablets and stuff now, I think.
I am gonna come out with a bit of a hot take here. If you're intimidated by Battletech's system, I would just ask whether you have reading comprehension.
We don't,
because Battletech Classic is so much easier to understand than Warhammer. Right, okay. Because Warhammer, you've got 17 books, you've got a codex, you've got this, you've got that, you've got your unit card, but then you've also got your army book, but also you've got the mission pack, but also you've got an errata because your command points can do different things now, and you've got new abilities because Pariah Nexus has come out, which means your Necrons can, I don't know, shoot people from 7 continents away. Whereas Battletech, everything's on the sheet.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't.
It's so much more self-contained. I don't know how it can be intimidating.
Yeah. So I don't think we're selling Battletech to anyone if they've got to episode 8 of the podcast. But
that's why I'm just coming out with the hot takes, because I don't get it.
Cool. But yeah, both systems are fine. Let's have a little talk through ways to get into each system if you didn't already know. So for Classic, as you heard us talk about earlier, a Game of Armored Combat is a fantastic box for getting into the game. It's got quite a lot of stuff in this box, really. The box comes with 8 mechs. Straight away, enough mechs for playing lance on lance, so you can play against your friend in there. Mechs in the box, got the Awesome, Battlemaster, Catapult, Commando, Locust, Shadowhawk, Thunderbolt, and Wolverine. There's like a mini rule book in there, which to be honest has got quite a good cover of most of the rules in there. There's record sheets in there which you can use or photocopy or laminate if you're sensible. 8 double-sided dry erase cards for Alpha Strike. So as you said earlier, there's parts in this box that mean you can use these for Alpha Strike out of the box as well. There's 8 double-sided Mech Warrior cards. So if you want to add in some special characters, you can do. There's a universe primer to kind of get you through the universe. There's a little novella in there. 2 double-sided map sheets, so effectively you're getting 4 maps. And some dice in case you need some dice. So it's a pretty good box, to be honest. It's got you can play out of the box really. Like there's nothing. You don't need anything else additional to that, do you, to play a game? Maybe a pencil?
No. Yeah, pencil, that's pretty good. Or if you laminate, just some markers. I will say, okay, table, maybe. Friends.
Friend. Okay.
Okay, fine. All I will say, though, is, even if those 8 mechs kind of made no sense to you, it's sort of like, there's too small, too medium, too heavy, too assault. Like that's really what it is. It's just there's a range of mechs in there.
They're solid mechs as well. I think I play with them
really
quite
good.
Regular as well. Obviously,
I have multiple copies.
Yeah, we talked about the Shadowhawk last episode, so I know you probably gathered that some of the guys aren't too keen on the Shadowhawk, which is not bad. And we might talk about the Commando later. So
get in the bin.
Don't be mean to the Shadowhawk. Just so you're aware, there's a couple of editions of this box. This box, there is the original version of this box, not the original. There's older versions of these. These are the more kind of 2019 plastic versions. There are older box sets which technically are compatible, but I think if you were starting from new, it's probably easier to go for these box sets. As I was saying, if you're looking for this box, the one with the blue Battlemaster on the front, waving around a mech's leg, that's the first version of the game of Armored Combat. There's a version after this, which has got an awesome on the front. I think that's got that additional to what's inside the box. I think that box has got a little Ilkland primer, which is the newest era, talking about what's going on. And I think it's got some information on the weapons. I've heard the molds are slightly better for that version of the box, but I can't remember if that's been confirmed.
They are slightly crisper, but the Shadowhawk still suffers from Shadowhawkitis on its LRM.
It's got an LRM 4/5.
4. Yeah, 4.5.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is probably the box I'd recommend. And as you've heard,
it's a really good start point. The price point to it is not particularly bad, especially if you buy from an FLGS. I think for me, games are a lot more enterable if the entry price is under £100, which that varies person to person. My limit to kind of like starting a game is probably £100.
Yeah,
this is 50, 60, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's 50, 60. Depends.
I'm out of touch.
Yeah, it's worth checking on your local game store. A lot of them offer discounts, and especially if you're in the States as well. I've seen some insane sales from like Barnes and Noble where they're selling some of the box sets and stuff for like $7 or like $5. Something crazy. So
super amazing prices if you can. But yeah, it's super cool. The price point's low. You will inevitably get sucked in and spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds or dollars on this stuff. But like crack, the first amount is usually pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So
yeah, other currencies and drugs are available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good box. I think I've got 2. I might get another one just because it's a solid box. The maps are good. The mechs are actually usable in all eras. It's not like it's not like you're going to buy it and then you're going to find, I'm never use these again. Maybe not the Shadowhawk, but most of
no, even the Shadowhawk, even the Shadowhawk gets use.
Yeah,
it's just a bit wank, but that's a lot of mechs. So
yeah. So we were talking about, obviously, price points. So there is a box that's beneath that price point as well, which they call, well, basically there's the Battletech Beginners box. So there's a couple of these. These have got 2 mechs inside them. The original version of not the original, well, the current kind of plastic versions of these. The first version had a Griffin and a Wolverine. That has got the red Griffin on the cover. That's quite an old box now, so you probably won't see that if you go to the shops. You might see it if it's been sitting on the shelf for a bit in your friendly local gaming store. There was a model. There's a box after that which has got the Griffin and the Vindicator inside there. That's got a Vindicator on the front. the newest box, basically in the same kind of artwork as the newest Game of Armored Combat box, has got an SLDF green Griffin on the front. As I said, these, I think they're the same. It's just basically that rather than the Wolverine and Griffin, it's the Griffin and Vindicator. I don't know if the newest 40th anniversary kind of SLDF one has got any ill clan information in there. It might do, but don't quote me on that. It's got, what has it got? It's got double-sided map in there, got deserts and grassland. It's got some tokens, which the other one has some tokens as well, which is pretty cool. Some quick start rules, a universe booklet, got another novella in there. They call them premium record sheets, but these are halves, so they're nice record sheets, but they've not got the full record sheet. I think if you're looking to play with it, it's not a bad idea for kind of introing someone into the game, but it's basically the same as if you just kind of fold a mech sheet in half and lose the criticals and the heat. But I've just introed people straight off the normal cards, but it's an option, and they're nice if you want to do that. And there's 4 double-sided Mech Warrior cards. Strangely, there's no Alpha Strike cards in this box, but they're not added in, I suppose, to stop people getting confused.
they understand that Alpha Strike is the inferior game.
No, I think it's more they don't want to confuse people too much.
No.
But yeah. Have you guys picked up those boxes? I know I picked up 2 of those at one point, just because, to be honest, the Vindicator, that's the only place you can get that in there, and the Griffin, I think, at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only reason I own this box. I own 2 of them because I want the Vindicator. I want to be honest, I don't think this is worth it.
I've had a couple.
It's half the price of a game of Armored Combat, and you get a quarter of the stuff. You don't even get full record sheets, which, and the quick start rules aren't even a proper rule book either. So I would actually say the beginner box is not a beginner box. It's I want a Griffin and a Vindicator box.
Yeah, but if you're a bit more strapped for cash, or maybe if you were trying to introduce someone without spending 50-60 quid on them, it might not be a bad way to get someone into it. Maybe someone like...
I disagree. For £25, which is the cost of this box, you can buy a Lance pack.
True.
I don't think... I just genuinely, I don't think it's worth it unless you're specifically looking for a Vindicator or a Griffin, and even then it's a hard sell.
What do you reckon, Nathan?
You know, I completely agree with Tom. I was going to say I might pick this up just so I can get a Vindicator and a Griffin, but like, yeah, it's not the best. You get 2 mechs, and you get a map sheet, and you get little like scatterable forest tiles, which I do like. To be fair,
yeah,
little tiles.
Yeah. I think that the maps. I think for all of us, it's been a supplement box that we've. It's not been our intro into the game, but I'm sure people have got into the game using this box. But I think if you got the choice, the Game of Armored Combat, I think. I know for me, I think for Tom and Nathan, it's the one we'd recommend. Dom, have you got a preference on this? I know you play with the game systems. What do you think? Do you think that's quite common that the
difficult, right? So my preference when it comes to what is effectively like a starter kit,
yeah,
will always be biased towards the sort of GW method. However, the GW method doesn't really exist in its sort of traditional guise anymore, because they've changed how that method works. So I always think for a starter kit, you need dice, some sort of ruler. Obviously, Battletech, you don't necessarily need that.
Yeah.
You need enough mechs to get 2 players started.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be my preference. However, Battletech is unique in the fact that it's very, very cheap to play in theory. So difficult to say. It's difficult to say. I would lean on the side of having a 8 mech, 1 set of dice, 1 playmat starter box. Does that exist in the current?
Yeah, that's a Game of Armored Combat.
It's close to that, I think. I think for the what you're talking about, the Game of Armored Combat, I think is as close as you're going to get. And I think it's been mentioned quite recently a couple of times on stream. I think Battletech does start to fall apart a little bit 1v1 with mechs, which is what you get with this beginner box. I think having 2v2 or 4v4 is where the game works well, whereas it struggles a bit with 1v1 because it goes one way usually quite quickly. But yeah. So yeah, I think we're all kind of agreed that the beginner box is fine, but I think if you got the choice, go for the Game of Armored Combat. But a little bit of additional to that, recently there was a box that came out similar to the beginner box called Battletech Essentials. It was, I think, a time with Target at the time.
Yeah, it was Target.
Which is
What the hell is Target?
Is it what's the equivalent?
It's an American retail store.
Is it like,
in the UK, you're looking at a Tesco or a Sainsbury's or a Target,
or like a medieval sort of stall with a little roof and a shopkeeper who's got various wares to offer you in the UK.
because obviously we are still in the 14th century. The Khajiits do offer many things similar to that of Target.
Yeah, the good thing about those kind of stores is you can always just drop your horse and carriage just outside of them because there's plenty of room on those big Roman roads that we all still have.
Look at this! Look at this man with a carriage. I'm just, I'm one horse, two oxen kind of man myself.
I'm just a man with a sack, personally.
I bet you are, mate. I bet you are.
What a brokey! What a brokey!
Let's start talking about our steeds and we'll have a quick talk. We'll have a quick talk.
Less about Nathan's sack.
Talking about this box and a segue across. So this box does talk about the different stables of mechs because this
like a horse and carriage,
kind of. So basically, this box is kind of, it's very similar to beginner's box. It comes with 2 mechs. It's a Centurion Yin Lo Wang and the Rifleman Legend Killer, which is just the Rifleman 3N. These are kind of 2 Solaris kind of gladiator mechs from the setting. There's 2 mechs like the beginner's box. Comes with a double-sided map sheet. One of them is pretty cool. It's got the like a little arena in it and it's got some tokens that you can use for representing lifting up and down the walls, which is pretty cool. And some rules for some of the stables, basically the kind of, how would you put it, like the teams or the kind of factions that you might see within the Solaris 7, which is kind of like their gladiator kind of world.
Like the sports teams, you learn about those.
Yeah, I think that kind of thing is pretty much kind of, I wouldn't say it's not a reskin of the box, but it's basically kind of like a very similar box to beginner's box. Mm-hmm. It's cool. There's the map's pretty cool inside there. It's obviously one of the only places you can get the Centurion Yin Lo Wang. You get the Rifleman a lot of places, but it is a reposed Rifleman. So if you want one that's slightly different pose, it's not a bad place to get it from. It's got some kickstart. It's got the quick start rules. It's got a novel, some Mech Warrior cards, extra rules for the arena. I think some extra rules for the stables and some dice. So it's not a bad little box, but same as above, really. You probably wouldn't buy this if you had a choice as your starting box. It's not a bad kind of supplement, but I think obviously for Target, it was similar to the beginner box, something to sit on the shelf and just potentially grab someone at that kind of $20, $25, kind of $20 kind of mark that might be interested that they wouldn't have got before. But if you're into war games and you got the money, definitely go for the bigger box. But yeah, so that's kind of what we talk about for Classic until we kind of come back to that in a minute. But let's have a quick talk through Alpha Strike. So getting started in Alpha Strike. Okay. Which can get started in Alpha Strike. Surprisingly, getting started in Alpha Strike, we might recommend the Battletech Alpha Strike box.
Yeah, potentially the one box that is Alpha Strike only. You should probably use that.
Yeah, it's a great box if you wanted to get into Alpha Strike. It's got a bunch of mechs, basically. The Alpha Strike uses more mechs in general. So it's got, 2 lances of Inner Sphere mechs, or 8 mechs, and a star of clan mechs, so 5 mechs. Those are a Archer variant with the large lasers, isn't it? Or large lasers, an Atlas variant, Blackjack variant, Firemoth variant, Locust, Nova, Phoenix Hawk, Pouncer, Timberwolf, Warhammer, Warhawk variant, Wasp variant, and the Wraith. And it's the only box. Use the box. In this box, you can only get the Wraith and the Locust. The only place to get them currently, and those variants.
The Pouncer, the Locust is in 7 million boxes. It's the Pouncer that's hard to get.
It's Pouncer and the Pouncer and the Wraith. Yeah. The Locust, it's a 3M technically. It's that particular model. It looks very similar to the ones we've currently got, but technically it's a new model.
If you want to split hairs like that, it's the only place to get that Archer.
Yeah, that Archer, that Atlas, that Blackjack, that Locust, that Firemoth, that Warhawk.
Long story short, even if you're playing Classic, just buy one copy and then never use the Atlas because it's a silly mech.
No, it's not too bad. We playing it recently, it's been pretty good. Also in this box, there's a 32-page rule book for getting started in Alpha Strike, which is pretty cool. A novella, which is cool. A primer. A bunch of Alpha Strike cards, obviously, because it's an Alpha Strike box. Some pilot cards. 25 support cards, which I think are still okay for Alpha Strike. I think they might have been superseded, those ones, but I think you can still use them in games with Alpha Strike. There is a reference sheet, which is cool. The other ones have got reference sheets as well. Punch boards of trees and counters, which is cool. There's a bunch of there's 9 small foldable cardboard buildings, 6 medium fold-up buildings, which you can use straight up, basically, so you can start to set up like a map, like a not 3D map. It's like a tabletop map rather than a hex-based map out the box, and it comes with 2 dice. It's if you want to play Alpha Strike, it's got everything to kind of play out the box. Apart from, you probably want a dry erase marker for your cards and a tape measure.
Oh, and also I was about to say you need a tape measure for Alpha Strike.
Yeah,
it's hexless, which I don't understand how that works.
You can play it with hexes,
I think,
but it's
I think as Hexperts we should disregard this.
No, it's
because we have no knowledge of it.
No, it's fine. But if you're looking to get into Alpha Strike initially, box set wise, this is probably the best place for it. You can get into it other ways, but I think if you want to get a rule book and enough mechs and stuff like that, it's probably where I'd recommend starting anyway. Cool.
Yeah, and even if you already have the starter set and not interested in Alpha Strike, the amount of mechs that you get in this box is absolutely insane, and it gives you a bit of both.
Cool.
Clans and the Sphere.
Yeah, I think is it usually? I think is it like $70 to $100 kind of pounds kind of mark. I'm a bit off with the price.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's got a lot of mechs and a lot of like card stock buildings and parts to it, so that's why it costs a bit more. Yeah. But I think it's
if you brought these in just slants packs, it would already be £75 just for the mechs alone.
True.
And all the different cards you get and the reference sheets and all that.
Yeah,
that's quite good.
That's good. It's a good point there, Nathan. To be honest, it's a nice box. I think a definite if you're looking to get into Alpha Strike. If you're into Classic and you want some of these mechs, it's not a bad box just to get anyway, because there's some cool variants in there, and the Wraith and the Panther aren't bad, and it's the only place you can get them currently. But yeah, that's the main kind of boxes. We'll have a little break and we'll have a little talk about some of the kind of the supplements to that, and what you maybe if you want to start with those rather than these boxes after the break. Catch you guys on the flip side. And we're back after the break. And
What break? We didn't have a break. Lewis is a slave master.
Okay, we talked about not saying that live on the podcast, so I have to remember to edit this out later on.
Please let my family go. Let my family go.
No, you don't.
Let my people free.
Okay, that's it. I think none of you get
Randall didn't have them after all. It was you.
No food. No food until next week now, guys. No food.
Oh!
Well, let's make Nathan do some work anyway. And let's move on to his segment, Your Tech or Lore Tech, or the other way around. I can't remember. It's one of those. One way. It's one of them.
It is one of them. Welcome back to Your Tech or Lore Tech, the show where I lie to my friends for the most part, or we actually tell the truth for once.
Or tell the truth to your friend.
Which is a rare thing.
Don't tell the truth. I told you guys about telling the truth.
This week, I don't have to tax my poor, smooth, dry brain with having to come up with anything, because Lewis has something for us, don't you?
I do. And I'm going to tell you guys about one of the most interesting worlds I know, or my favourite world in Battletech. And that is the...
Hardcore.
Hardcore actually is probably my second favourite world. This is my favourite world, though.
Jealous!
That's your favourite world. But yeah, this is the world of Dunkelwalder Douglaswischen Schattenwelt, or, I think translated to English, the shadow world of dark woods and darker rivers. This world, in 2789, had a vote to change its name. They chose to change the name of this planet to Rob, which I think obviously is quite funny. However, this caused some issues because as it meant that with their HPG not working and a lot of their ships getting sent away with the First Succession War, that actually they disappeared off some of the maps for the Draconis Combine, and they couldn't speak to anyone, and it meant that I think it's quite a large number of the population died. I think it's 173,000 people. We might be, died because they changed the name of their planet to Rob. So yeah, funny name, not gone fantastic. What do you reckon, guys? Have I made that up, or is that true?
I'm going to say...
I think it's true.
It's true.
True.
I'm saying true. I'm saying it's a Yortech. Wait, no, Lortech.
It's a Lortech. I'm not going to answer because I know the answer to this.
Okay, and Nathan, what do you reckon?
I do know the answer to this. I'm going to say it is real.
It's real. What do you reckon, Tom?
Well, I said I already know. It's real.
I pulled a little silly on you. It's not the world of Rob, it's the world of Bob. Oh, I should have been doing some listening there, guys. But yeah, the rest of it's all true there.
Oh, wow.
I did a bit of a...
Guys, your so-called Lortech's dead because Lewis just immediately undercut the... He undercut the whole premise. I mean, I guess you got it.
I got you. We did a bit of a silly on you. Yeah, I just changed the name slightly to...
Isn't Bob just short for Robert anyway?
Oh,
yeah, Bob is actually short for Robert, which is Rob. So
they got me the technicality. Technically, the wool's been pulled on my own eyes. So you guys
get in the comments and tell us how much Lewis should be fined for a bad Yortek or Lortech.
Guys, get into the comments. Are you Team Bob or Team Rob? That's the real question.
Obviously, don't be Team Bob because it means that everyone on the planet dies because they didn't. The planet is hostile, and if they don't get sent food, they die.
That's why they died.
Yeah.
They had a Rob Bob civil war.
they had a Bob Dunkelwalder Dunkelschlifflechen Welt and
Lewis is drunk on the podcast.
As you can tell, Lewis is a very strong German speaker.
Could you pronounce that for me, Tom? Because you are a what's the best way to put it?
I think so it's going to be Dunkelwalder, Dunkelfluschen, Schattenwelt. It's not much better, but there's a couple of other ways.
That's such a German name. It just injects 8% wheat beer into your veins as you play. That's how German it is.
It's it's asking if you want a schnapps.
Yeah, but
it's asking what your skull shape is.
Whoa! Okay, let's move on to
phrenology. Tom over here.
Let's carry on then.
Welcome to our next segment.
Let's carry on then. So, I don't think there's anything more to say about the Planet of Bob. Comment if you think I pulled a bit of a sneaky there, if they won or if I if I got away with that or not. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flip side then. And we're back from break, and we're back onto our main segment, and we're going to talk about some of the supplements that we recommend for getting started in Battletech. One of the big kind of supplements to those boxes or your started stuff would be the rule books. It can be a little bit confusing now. So for Classic or Total Warfare, we recommend you probably start with the Battletech manual or the Total Warfare book. The Battletech manual is a bit newer. That book is basically just more about mechs. So if you want to play Battletech with mechs, which you probably do, that book is great for that. It's a bit more streamlined than Total Warfare. It's a bit more modern. I think. How do they phrase it? It's more modern kind of layout. It's designed, I think.
Look,
yeah.
I'm really sorry to stop you there. It is the Battle Mech Manual.
Oh, Battle Mech Manual.
Yeah, it's the Battle Mech Manual because it only includes battle mechs.
Oh,
firing him.
And the only reason I'm bringing this up, is so you don't confuse it with the 1987 Battletech Manual, the Rules of Warfare, which actually is an attempt to integrate and consolidate Battletech, CityTech, and Aerotech. So there is some. It is actually a thing that exists.
It is.
It's a relevant thing.
Okay, so
does that book also integrate battle droids by any chance?
No. Well, are those droidic cards?
Oh, what's that?
Unfortunately, Nuke Gunray is not in Battletech anymore. Very sad.
But yeah, we'll carry on, Tom. Anyway, you're in the role.
I'm so sorry, Lewis. I felt like I've really stopped you there.
No, keep going on. What do you reckon?
I'm just going to take Lewis's spot. Battlemech manual. It's just got battlemechs in it. It's got all the stuff you need to play with battlemechs, which is most of what you need these days because the other stuff is changing.
Like the winds.
Like the winds.
What do you really think about Alpha Strike?
Oh, it's shit.
Stop baiting him.
It's so shit. It's not even got a book in print.
Yeah, it has got a book. A box. They've just got books being delivered out. But anyway, as Tom was saying, Battlemech manual is the more modern kind of mech focused version of the rulebook. If you want a rulebook that's a bit more comprehensive, there's Battletech Total Warfare, which is a bit more in-depth book. It covers battle mechs as well as tanks, flyers, proto mechs, infantry, helicopters, and it's got a bit more of a comprehensive covering over things, so it explains things in a little bit more detail. However, if you're trying to skim through the rules quite quickly and find the rule, it can be a bit more difficult. So I think for kind of pick up and play, the Battlemech manual is pretty good, or for like general play, kind of if you're down the club. For confirming rules and stuff, Total Warfare is good as well. So both books are good, but I think if you had to choose one, I think I would lean towards the Battlemech manual. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Oh, no, totally. I will also say, much like the Battlemech manual can be confused with the Battletech manual, please do not confuse Total Warfare with the Joseph Goebbels sports plus speech. This isn't Nazi ideology. It's just a way to play Battletech.
Oh, dear. But yes. So, yeah, I think...
Some would say they have a lot in common.
Dear.
Hans Davian, Reinhard Heydrich, very similar person, obviously.
Name is Hans.
True, very true, very, very Nazi coded, of course.
But getting back onto topic, I think Total Warfare, is looking to be kind of replaced. In the next coming years to be, I think, kind of in the format of the Battlemech manual. I think they might be looking to change a couple of rules in there as well. But I don't think that's going to be in the next couple of months. I think that's kind of a longer project.
It's a rough book. I own it. It's cool. I like owning it more than not owning it, but it's a rough book in some places. It's chunky, it's clunky, and a lot of the stuff in there has been superseded with the new mercenaries stuff, which works so much better.
You've got we'll talk about mercenaries in a minute, but some of the stuff like the vehicle rules they've simplified for classic from the supplements we'll talk through shortly. But both of these available in PDF or, as I say, Dead Tree format. But for Alpha Strike, if you want to get into Alpha Strike, there's one book they'd recommend, which is the Battletech Alpha Strike. Is it Commander's Edition?
Yeah, it's Commander's Edition, which I did allude to earlier, but is it in print again? Because it's been out of print for yonks.
I think it's back in print. I listened to some of the talks that one of the problems was, I think, some of the stock got held up with some of the Kickstarter, which is why a lot of shops didn't have it in stock because it was being held with Kickstarter products when it should have been out with retailers, but I think gathered it was in Kickstarter storage places when it shouldn't have been.
Well, in that case, we'll see it in the UK in 7 years.
I think there are, like, very recently, I think there's some restocks, but also I've heard that this book might have what do you call it? A refresh, kind of tidy up in the nearish kind of maybe a year or two kind of future. But to be fair, there's been a couple of errata since the last printing, so yeah, I think it probably needs one. Yeah, I think it's but both all these books, they do erratas to kind of tie things up, and they do tweak things here and there. The rules haven't changed massively for like 40 years, but they do tidy things up or try and explain things a little bit better in most editions anyway. But they haven't changed massively from start. But if you do want to make sure you're on the latest kind of set of rules, the latest tweaks, or the current wording, then you might want to check the erratas as well as these books. But yeah, those are the main rule books you kind of want to start with, really. Should we move on to some box supplements for the games?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Cool. So for Classic, There's 2 main supplements out currently. One, which you probably heard the name of quite a bit, is the Clan Invasion box, which obviously was kind of involved with that Clan Invasion Kickstarter. This box is an add-on to the A Game of Armored Combat, which kind of adds clans into the game. You can add clans in other ways, but basically this box gives you a bunch of gives you 5 clan mechs, a couple of is it stands? Or it's not stands, kind of bases of elementals.
Points of elementals.
There we go. And some rules to kind of use clan mechs and some of the lore behind who the clans are and also how they fight, which is a little bit different to your Lance and Lance Inner Sphere mechs. It's quite a good box if you're into clans. If you're not into clans, you don't need to, I suppose, pick it up. The mechs now are pretty solid. I picked one up, and because it's not bought as much as the Game of Armored Combat, you can pick this one up on sale quite often. I think I've seen them up, definitely in the States. I'm sure I've seen some on sale for insane prices, but I've picked one up in the past. It's a good box. I don't know if have you guys got one of these yet?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I like the Nova. It's a very me mech.
It definitely is.
And then the Elementals are always good. I mean, like, I love Elementals. And they're, unfortunately, the newer Inner Sphere Battle Armor kind of has a poor sculpt. As of recording this in 2025, the Inner Sphere Battle Armor is a bit rough. And the Elementals are just a much better model, in my opinion. So I like to cut one of them off the base and then
run them as
run them in Inner Sphere Battle Armor. And also, every 4 you make, you have an extra base of battle armor.
There you go. Some Tom money saving tips there. But yeah,
I'm like Martin Lewis.
Yeah, but yeah, not bad. Nathan, have you picked this one up? Was this one you're looking to get?
I am actually looking to get it, to be fair, but I never seem to find it in the shops, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, I haven't got any elementals yet, so I'd really like to get some and see how they play.
I thought you'd have some by now, but I suppose unless you got this box or you bought a box of elementals, and you might not have any hanging around.
But no, I am very tempted, however, by the little force pack that you can get with the 5 with the whole star of elementals in it.
Yeah, that one's not too bad. I think I usually just end up buying loose elementals off people if I want them. But yeah, it's fine if you want to get into clan mechs. So it's a great supplement. I would say, as we're saying, it's a supplement to the Game of Armored Combat. So it's not going to give you the rules for playing Battletech in there. It's in addition to that. So it just so you know, don't expect it to kind of walk you through the whole game. It's just adding on clan mechs. Talking of an addition, kind of like a supplement, recently, you probably heard, the Battletech Mercenaries box has come out. This is also a supplement. This is like an addition to a Game of Armored Combat. You don't need to have the Clan Invasion box, but it doesn't hurt to have this one if you're looking to add clan mechs to your forces as well. But Battletech Mercenaries is a supplement box that lets you play Battletech Mercenaries, which is a kind of campaign system. It kind of gets you and your lance kind of being built up, playing missions, kind of building up your lance, kind of having like a, what do you call it? What's the word? Kind of
a mercenary company.
Mercenary company, but you kind of carry, what's the word? Continuous, kind of, you carry on. You do more than one game. That's what I'm trying to say. So your force kind of carries on and you keep track of them. And you look after them, fix them up, look after your money, salvage mechs. It's quite fun. And also this box, as Tom talked about earlier, has some of the battlefield support cards for Classic and Alpha Strike, which lets you use artillery, bombing runs, mines, but also for Classic, it gives you the battlefield support cards for tanks, hovercraft, helicopters as well, which is a good way to get those kind of combined elements into the game without having to use their full rules if you just want a quicker game. But yeah, it's got carry on. Sorry, what were you saying? Sorry.
I would argue that that's actually a little bit of a misrepresentation. I would say they're not cut down rules. I would say it's just a new way to use them. If you want to use the old way, that's fine. But I actually think that this is the superior way to play non-battle mechs, because it makes them feel like they're a thing. They could fuck something up, but it's unlikely. And they're kind of not the point. Battletech is about big stompy robots.
Yeah, I agree. I think since we played a couple of times with the standard vehicle rules, but these battlefield support, yeah, which usually ends up with lots of hetzers, but the battlefield support points cards are pretty good. That I think they make the vehicles not as efficient as they are maybe in classic normally, which means they're not the stars of the show. They're kind of support actors, which I think is probably, for us anyway, I think locally we prefer that. However, I could understand someone who's really into vehicles liking their vehicles being efficient as they are in standard with the standard rules.
If you're into vehicles, know this: you are scum. No, I'm saying this as a man that has an all-vehicle army. It's just not fun in classic if you run with the original rules. They're just too good. Like 4 hetzers is infinitely better than 4 hunchbacks.
I think the main problem with them is that they just gave them like insane amount of armor.
Yeah, they're crazy. Anyway, this is another episode and another day.
But
we can talk about why vehicles are bad.
Great box, 8 mechs or 8 mechs in the box.
Yeah,
4 vehicles. So 2 galleons, 2 maxims. Obviously, you probably know what's inside the box. It's got a bunch of tokens as well, which is pretty cool for like things like vehicles you don't have, emplacements, which have been getting shot by a lot of emplacements lately. I'm trying to think what else is inside there. Stuff for doing your mercenary company and getting started with the mercenary campaign system. And there are supplements to this supplement, which is the Hinterlands books and a Draconis Reach book we talked about earlier, which you can see if you go to the Expo. Look at that.
Yes,
not the book, but bits of it, maybe.
Yeah, you can see bits of the book. I will just say though, Hinterlands is the name of one of the books. The series, I think, is called Hotspots.
I think Hotspots is
I think it's called Hotspots Hinterlands, and then it's Hotspots Draconis Reach. I might be wrong.
Well, you got Hotspots Tamar Rising and Hotspot. Yeah, I think there's. Yeah, it's the Battletech mercenary system, and there's the Hinterlands book adds onto that, and the Draconis Reach book will be adding onto that as well with additional an area to play with additional contracts and stuff and additional rules inside there as well.
And some updated rules. Yeah, that is very true.
Cool. So yeah, that box, I think I like the Clan Invasion box, but it's not a must. But I think if you're looking to get into playing Battletech Mercenaries, I think the Mercenaries box is a must, especially because that's I think the only place currently to get the cards and also the rules for the cards as well. I've been trying to find them like separately. Let us know if you know that if they're available elsewhere officially. But I think
they are. Yeah,
they are. You know that, Dom.
Yep. I am so well informed about where you can find these cards. You can go on there's a website called Tom, you might need to write www.google.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard of that one. That's a pretty deep cut, to be fair.
Yeah, Bing. I think Bing is another one.
You can find them online, but officially they are, I think, only available currently in this box. But yeah,
to be fair, I've also heard of one called Jeeves.
Yeah, Yahoo.
That seems to be pretty good as well.
Is that Jeeves still working?
Yahoo's not a name. I'm just celebrating that you said Jeeves.
Yahoo!
Okay, anything more to add to Battletech Mercenaries before we move on?
It's a really good box. Buy it.
Yeah, definitely buy it.
But you can't because it's not in the UK yet.
Yeah,
sorry.
I think it will be soon. I think not sponsored obviously, but I think Fortress and Sci-Fi Trader have got some if you're looking to get them, which is cool.
Yeah, as I've said previously, I have purchased from Fortress Miniatures and Games from the UK. They're really cool. They're super cool. They sent me a neoprene beer cooler as well, which, you know, anyone that sends me free shit, I'll shout you out. Buy stuff from Fortress. It's cool.
Yeah, and
Tom's going to include his postcode in the description.
If you want to send me free stuff, do email at hexpertshelpline@gmail.com and I will respond.
We will meet. You could give me all of your stuff.
Yeah, I'll shout you out. I'll be a shill. Raid Shadow Legends, 100%.
But yeah,
I love Manscaped.
Dude, I do actually need a Manscaped.
No, there's not. You can save the Manscaped episode for the After Dark episodes. But anyway,
yeah.
Dark.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from classic supplements to some of the Alpha Strike supplements. One we've been talking about quite a bit recently, or I've been talking about quite a bit recently, would be Battletech Aces. Technically not out yet, but it's on the way.
Well, actually not out yet.
Yeah, it's not out. Yeah, it's not out yet. There's supposed to be 4 boxes of this coming, and these are going to be supplement boxes to the Alpha Strike box set that we talked about earlier, that will let you play against that AI kind of controlled opponent using cards. They're going to
If you've ever played Heroes of the Aturi cluster for X-Wing, I keep bringing this up like everyone's played it. It's a good system. I'm talking about X-Wing now. A defunct game, literally a dead game. It's pretty cool.
It's the
same guy that did that.
Same guy.
So yeah, long story short, it's the same guy. He's pretty cool. If he wants to, I don't know if he wouldn't want to send me these, but if he does, Hexperts Helpline.
Yeah. So basically, it's a system where you can play solo or co-op against mechs that are controlled by a card system. Each of these boxes is going to be themed around some of the hotspots that aren't the Mercenary campaign hotspots. So Tamar Rising, El Clan Eyes Only, Dominion Divided, and Empire Alone. I think that's all of them. I think currently, I think they're going to have campaign stuff in there as well as the AI controlled mechs, and they've got a bunch of cool looking mechs in the one that's been previewed. I'm sure there's going to be some cool looking mechs out in the boxes that follow up from there. But like I said, technically not out yet, but that is a supplement that's supposed to be on the way. Hopefully this year, maybe next year. But yeah, anything to add on those guys? Anything to add to Aces, or are you happy with that?
It's cool if you like Alpha Strike.
Oh God, I forgot. Yeah, you guys are.
Does not.
You hate Alpha Strike.
I don't hate it. I just think there's better ways to play.
Yeah, cool. Well, obviously, last kind of supplement we've been talking about quite a bit throughout the other supplement talks is force packs. I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen force packs, but they're a great way to supplement the boxes. Or if as Nathan said, he started with force packs, you could start with a force pack and then maybe grab a rule book or grab a PDF rule book and then start playing from there, really. Usually the force packs have got, depending what kind of force they're representing, they've got 4 to 6 mechs, maybe some vehicles, some of the bits and pieces in there. They've usually got some Alpha Strike cards. They've not got record sheets for classics, so if you need them, you probably need to go to Mega Mech Factory, or I like to use Null Geops. Master unit list is supposed to be getting updated in the very near future to be able to give us record sheets. But
secondarily, flex sheets.
Oh yeah, you guys like flex sheets quite a lot.
Use flex sheets. It's super cool and it's interactive.
Yeah, it's interactive. Too complicated for me though. I'm eldest. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're going to get into Battletech, you're probably going to buy a force pack. As I said, I think the ones out at the moment, you've got your Innisphere force packs, you've got Comstar force packs, Clan force packs, you've got Mercenaries, the Kickstarter force packs, Mercenaries themed force packs, and then you're starting to get faction packs coming out as well.
There's a lot of force packs.
Yeah.
Yep. And such legendary force packs as the Salvage Box Urban Mech Lamb and the Urban Mech force pack.
You did this on purpose. You're baiting me out again. This whole episode has been people baiting me with horrific things in Battletech.
They call me the masturbators.
Yeah. But yeah.
Why do they call you that, Nathan?
Because you're just baiting me.
Oh, right.
I'm jacking off!
Anyway, but some of the force packs that I might recommend would be the Innisphere Battle Lance, Innisphere Striker Lance, and I quite like the Cowhound Striker Lance. Any force packs you guys particularly like or would recommend to someone looking to get started?
Baby Yoda.
The Baby Yoda pack? I'm not sure if
he's got the force.
He does have the force. I have a very specific proclivity to the Somerset Strikers force pack, and the only reason for that is because it's got a Hatamoto G in it, which is super cool.
Is a very cool pack. It's got a pretty solid mechs now.
It's also got a Deboku in it as well, which is pretty fun.
I don't know what that is. You mean the Mauler?
It's the Deboku, Lewis. I've got it here. I mean, the Axeman 2N, pretty cool, and then the Bushwhacker, pretty cool, and then there's like a kneeling, horrific amalgam of two things called a wolfhound.
It's Talking technicalities, it's the only wolfhound currently that's got the medium lasers all facing forward on the chest. The others have got.
Oh, has he got 4? Oh, 2
Yeah.
seconds. I need to look
Yeah.
at Holy shizzle.
Well, you look
Cool.
at that
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
completely change your opinion.
No, it doesn't.
I like the heavy clan pack because, I mean, you get the Ebon Jag, which
Solid.
in game out, it is a very cool looking mech. You get the Huntsman, you get the Kingfisher, you get the Takina. Like, it's all the fun toys you can have.
That
and I also like the Comstar. Is it the level 2s?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's only level 2s. Level 1s is just one mech. So
yeah, I like the level 2 packs because you get some of the cooler, like, Star League era fellas in the
my favorite
6 mechs box.
Yes.
My favorite Death Grip song is in it as well.
What's that, Tom?
Guillotine! Yeah, I was seeing my favorite Death Grip song, Hacker. So no, it's Guillotine. It's a good mech.
Yeah. I know, Nathan, you're quite keen on the King Crab in that one, or General Crab as well.
But we've already established that Nathan's keen on masturbation as well. So.
Okay.
Nathan, a masturbator who has many crabs.
Yeah. Any favourite force packs from yourself, Dom? Oh yeah,
No.
You said the Baby Yoda pack. Okay.
No.
Okay. Well,
No.
Well, at least we are.
They're all equally as interesting.
They are all equally interesting.
I mean, that's just not true. But
well, we'll end talking about force packs there. If you've got a favourite force pack and like to tell us, please email to hexpertshelpline@gmail.com or in one of the comments. But do you have any more supplements that you can talk us through, Tom? Because we've talked about some of the basic rule books, but there's a lot of when I go to the shops or if I look online, there's a lot of extra Battletech rule books. Any?
I was about to say, Lewis, if you go to the shops, there's fuck all.
Yeah, in the
UK. Yeah, you got to look online. Well, there are some other options. Should your level of interest not be satiated by total warfare and the militarization of your life into battle mech thinking, you will become Napoleon in a Battlemaster. You may be interested in other books such as Tactical Operations, which gives expanded rules for just basically fleshing things out. It takes it very much, I would argue, it takes it from a war game into a role-playing game. Or, you're very much in simulation territory. Because you're now pissing about with gravity, wind, weather, atmosphere. There are some rules that I really like in there, like expanded criticals, expanded hit locations, expanded movement. There's a lot of stuff. TAC Ops has a load of stuff, which kind of it's optional. Everything in the Battle Mech manual officially has to be used. Obviously, it's your game. Play with as many or as little rules as you want, but officially, everything in the Battle Mech manual is kind of like what they expect you to play with. Everything in TAC Ops is just sort of stuff you can if you want.
Does it tell you how planes work?
No, it doesn't. No, I think you need a degree in aerospace for that, aerospace engineering, which I don't own. But more interestingly, there's also something called strategic operations. Don't know why I said that so weirdly.
Just before you carry on, Tom, as well, I have heard, you might be able to confirm this, that the optional rules in TAC Ops, you can use some of them, and you don't have to use all of them. And if you do use all of them, I think some of them contradict each other as well. So you've gathered you got to pick and choose. You can't have everything from the book. You've kind of got to choose your flavors, kind of thing.
That's an affirmative. It's a smorgasbord of options, and much like me at a buffet, you want to gorge yourself on as much as possible. But unfortunately, you have to pick your favorites.
Cool.
And much also like me at a buffet, you have to be strategic about these things with strategic operations.
That was good.
That was good. Which is the most recent thing I've picked up, which is, it's an expanded equipment roster, basically. So this is, I'm very much into the new Republic Institute of Science and New Avalon Institute of Science. They produce a bunch of mechs with some kind of like experimental kit on them. And this book, it goes through all the eras about all the stuff that you might not have in the base book. but you've got your hyper lasers and your viral jammers and your repeating TCMP. You got all your cool stuff.
Laser heat sinks. I read that. That's
yeah. Laser capacitors, laser refractors, laser heat sinks. Fucking cool. Laser AMS as well. It's pretty cool. And then you have campaign ops, which is if you want to play like you want to be a proper general. Campaign ops is how you used to, how you still run military operations in Battletech. At this point, you're really getting away from lance on lance, and you're on kind of like regiment on regiment combat, looking at supply lines, logistics, that kind of thing. And then at this point, you're also playing interstellar ops, which is where you're getting in your kind of void ships and that kind of business. This is what really brings me into Battletech, is you can just take it as deep as you want.
Yeah, probably.
Sure, it does, man.
Yeah, probably wouldn't recommend starting with. I wouldn't recommend starting with.
Guys, start. Your first game should be campaign interstellar operations. It's like campaign for North Africa. You'll never finish it.
Yeah. All I gotta say is don't go too deep if you're new to this. That's a very important
Classic
thing.
Nathan line, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, actually, that's not bad advice. Don't go too deep. Go wide, not deep.
I'm new to this. I'm new to this.
Oh dear. But yeah, those are the books you reckon you want to talk about, Tom? There's even more and more books.
There's so many that I can't even think about all of them. Long story short is, by the time you're getting onto those books, you are invested enough that you'll just look them up yourself, and you don't need me telling you badly what they are.
There we go. By the time you're using those books, you won't need us anymore.
I'm defunct. Yeah, we're defunct at that point. We are a bit passé, and you'll think we're idiots because we're wrong most of the time.
We are. You'll realise that. Probably realise that already. Cool. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of like where to get started with Battletech, what we'd recommend. And obviously we've gone through where we've got started, so there's not like a wrong way and a right way to do things. So obviously if you ask Tom, he'll say the wrong way is to buy Alpha Strike.
Just play Warhammer. Just play War Dogs.
No. But yeah, so there's not a right way or a wrong way, but I think, as we've said, get into Classic, at Game of Armor Combat, fantastic way to start. Get into Alpha Strike. Surprisingly, the Battletech Alpha Strike boxes, great way to start, and probably pick up some of the supplements you're interested in. And I would definitely recommend picking up some of the force packs you're interested in. I'm sure it's not going to spiral into you buying all of them and multiple of them, because
it will.
It will.
It
definitely will. Cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Any more questions or anything you want to add or tell us we've got wrong? Which
Nope, I'm all good.
Yeah, obviously let us know. Cool. But we'll catch you guys after a little break, and we're going to be getting back to Mech of the Week. So catch you guys on the flip side. And we're back from break. And let's have a talk about Mech of the Week. Mech of the Week.
Mech of the Week. Mech of the Week.
I love Mech of the Week.
Or Mech of the Strong, as I'm calling it this week, because we've got the greatest mech of all, the
Commando. Probably not the greatest mech of all. It's not bad though.
Yeah, sorry, that was slightly
pretty magical.
On a sort of
get to the mech bay.
Yeah, it's get to the dropship.
Before we get into this too much, right? Can we just address something?
What's that?
Is there enough mechs to make a lance full of named from Arnold Schwarzenegger movies or Schwarzenegger related?
I think you should have asked this earlier than now because we would have had time to prepare. We will get
okay. But is there like a
week,
Predator, for example?
I don't know if there's a Predator. No. There's a Commando.
A Terminator.
Obviously. Possibly.
That has to be a Terminator and a Predator.
Okay. Keep going. Keep going, and I will.
I'll talk through the Commando, and then Tom can look up mechs. Tom can look up Tom can cross-reference every Arnold Schwarzenegger film with mech names to see if we can do that.
Okay. Yeah, 2 seconds. Okay, there must be one called Total Recall.
There's a mech called the Total Recall.
Yeah, shut up.
Is there an eraser?
No, it's the Hasek one.
Yeah, Hasek Recall. Don't get Tom started on Hasek Recall again. No, stop him. But yeah, anyway, let's carry on with Mech of the Week while Tom's doing that. So the Commando, first produced in 2463 in Coventry Defence Conglomerate. Way, Coventry! Made for the Lyrans. It's one of the first recon mechs. Mech did pretty well against some of the Cretans with their fancy new gladiator mechs on Nox in its primitive configuration, or monkey configuration as we call it. However, in the following years, some mechs coming out, such as the Stinger and the Wasp, kind of took its recon role, which meant that the producers decided to reconfig and set this mech up to be more of a striker mech. So this kind of sits as the kind of standard profile for this mech going forward. This is the Commando 2D. And Nathan, could you talk us through some of the stats of the Commando 2D?
So the Commando 2D is a 25-ton light mech. As you've heard, it's a very light mech.
It's not that light.
Not the lightest, but it's still pretty light. I mean, 25 tons. I could lift that.
I'm not sure of that. Maybe you probably maybe.
Yeah,
My muscles, they're so big.
They're so big and muscular.
Not.
But yeah, he's got a Coventry Metalwork chassis.
Yeah.
General Motors.
Yeah.
150 engine that lets it run up to 95 kilometers per hour or 60 miles per hour. So it can do national speed limit at least,
Yeah.
or 9 hexes. So it's got one, shockingly, Coventry SRM4, and weirdly, a Shannon 6-shooter SRM6 instead of a Coventry variant, which I feel like it would have.
Can you say that after a couple of drinks 6 times in a row, Nathan?
Shannon 6-shooter. There you go. And it's got a Defiance B3M medium laser, and to support all of that heat, he's got 10 heat sinks, which I don't know if that's enough, really. And in BV2, he's 541.
Bargain,
And
really, I think.
In
Bargain.
Universe, he is 1.823 million C-bills.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, that's quite cheap for a 25-ton, like,
Chump change.
20-foot murder machine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not too bad. I think for the BV as well, I think it's a bargain.
There's Commando magic about.
It is a bargain. I have chucked him into a little recon lance just because of how cool and cheap he is.
Cool. But yeah, before we talk about our thoughts, should we pass it back to Tom and see if he's got us a Arnold Schwarzenegger lance, or if he wants to talk through variants?
I will talk through variants in a minute, but I was very close. So there is a Hercules, which is a Free Worlds League mech.
That's good.
There's a Predator, which is a Clan Firemandrel mech.
Yeah.
What a shock.
And then I unfortunately couldn't find another one, so I've had to go for not a battle mech, but a Gunter MP20 submachine gun produced by the Lion Alliance, which obviously is named after Killing Gunter, a movie that he was in that I've never heard of. So
Killing Gunter.
we got 3/4 of the way there, guys. But unfortunately, that is a big L.
Well, technically, Tom, all of the mechs Mimer are derived from the Schwarzenegger bicep. So inside Tom, they're all a bit Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Inside me, there is Arnold.
No, that's not what I said. It's not what I said.
Oh, inside you? He's inside me as well.
So there's no mech called the Junior. You sure?
Oh, that actually might.
There's a mech of the Junior.
No, there's not.
Or
There's the
twins.
juniors.
There's not the
junior.
twin.
There are the twins, but they're not mechs. Anyway, Commando variants. So the original variant, the Com 1A, is the original prototype that was used in primitive tech times. It was equipped only with an Odin large laser mounted in its right arm. That's it. It's shit.
It's not bad.
It's fitted with 5 tons of primitive armor and could run at 80 kilometers an hour, so it could do the national speed limit. These were the early commandos that took part in the Battle of Nox in 2475 against the Drax.
I don't know how did they mess up the gladiators, because they're pretty solid. I don't know.
They really fucked that one up.
I don't know what the primitive gladiators got, but like he's pretty.
Probably had a couple, like 100 of them. Probably.
Oh yeah.
The second mech that I've been forced to talk about because Lewis is anti-fun. is the Commando 1B, which has a large laser and an SRM2 in addition to a medium laser.
Yeah.
So you lose the SRM6 and the SRM4's downgraded. So it's all right. It's probably more reliable, but...
Yeah, just talk about that one, because it's the one we use in Mech Warrior when we got blown up many times.
Yeah, now, obviously, I'm now allowed to talk about fun variants. So the first fun variant that I want to talk about is the Commando 4H, which is a Marine Hegemony variant, which is used in the periphery, and everything gets removed. So all of the SRMs get removed. They add a second medium laser, and they add 6 rocket launcher 50s.
What a surprise.
The Marine Hegemony liking rocket launchers. Interesting. One-shot LRMs, very fun.
Yeah.
And the second cool variant, not boring variant, is the COM 7Y2 Blazing Inferno.
No, this sounds...
So this is particularly popular among mercenary outfits of the 2D that arose in the Succession War. So it saves money and ammunition by replacing the SRM packs with an extra ton of armor and 6 small lasers and 4 medium lasers. However, it's called a Blazing Inferno because it only has 10 heatsink.
Oh god, the guy inside done very well.
So if you wanted Hunchback 4P but on a budget, don't buy this because it's really bad.
How much BV is that? That's actually not... That seems like...
728.
That sounds pretty... That might do work, like in Classic.
To be fair, I joke, but yeah, 6 small lasers are going to fuck someone up. 1 heat for 3 damage? You get that in someone's arse. Boff.
Oh yeah.
We stopped talking about getting in people's asses now. Anyway,
and that Schwarzenegger bicep off.
Okay. Well, there's some variants. I think there's a lot of Commando variants, isn't there? There's quite a chunk.
Oh, there's like 20 because it's a decent mech. Unlike the Shadowhawk, of which there's 25 variants, none of which fix it.
Stop. Leave him alone. He's already dead.
Hey, the lamb's pretty good.
Yeah, we like the lamb.
Yeah, I'll take that.
But so, what are your guys' thoughts on the Commando? Any issues with it? Anything you like? Anything you don't like? I know personally, it blows up a lot when I've played against it. I've not used it that often. I've cut it in half quite a lot and blown it up, but I've not used it myself a lot.
It is protected by Arnie, and any time you use a commando, there is something called commando magic that happens.
Yeah,
and this is literally BattleTech folklore that commandos will always kill above their BV cost. I think it stems from the fact that they have SRMs, so they're used as crit seekers very often, so to do final kills.
Oh yeah.
But it is very often commandos will kill assault mechs.
What do you reckon, Nathan?
Yeah. I think at the same time it said that they kill above their BV, and that's because their BV is like
there's nothing.
Okay, fine.
A kit cat would cost more in BV than a commando, and that's why it's so good because you get all those SRMs. So in 3025, you could pay the price to give him an extra gunnery and infernos, and then just run up to someone and disable mechs for the entire game.
Yeah, no. To be fair,
the price of 2 cookies is amazing.
Yeah, you can just fuck up like an Atlas's day. You just walk up to him and go, "Would you like 15 heat a turn?"
No.
Even like even in like later eras, there's probably some funkier post 3025 variants. And also, if he stays this cheap, you could just keep running them. You could drown them in commandos.
I'm looking, and I cannot find a base commando variant. There's one commando variant which is not sub 1000. Most of them are sub 700.
Exactly.
That's not bad.
Even like the latest one that has C3 slaves and stuff is only 720.
Think about it. You could run 2 of these for every light like clan mech that they can run, which is like going to be like 3/4 of the armor of those 2 combined, and it means that it's hard to hit both of them because you have to either target one down where the other one gets in your butt, or try and target both of them where it's even harder to hit them.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I mean, even the clans take it and just make a clan Commando 2C which just has 2 more SRM4s. It's pretty cool, to be fair, and that's only like 970. That's a cheap clan mech.
Yeah,
that is insane.
So yeah, the Commando gold standard. I'm giving it an A+. It's not an S tier mech. It's an A+.
It is an A+.
Yeah, I would say for your one-off games, it's real good. But I think if you're looking for campaign, it's not very fast. It's not the most survivable thing. So just be prepared for it to losing pilots and that mech blowing up. Also, something to think about as well. There's only one model for this mech in plastic, which you get from the game of Armored Combat we talked about earlier. It's quite kind of weirdly posed, where it's kind of facing one way and then looking another and pointing its arm in a different direction. So it's one of those mechs that you probably need to make sure you and your opponent know which hex you think is facing forward. But yeah,
guys, it's where the feet face. It's where the feet face.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyone that says otherwise, get in the bin.
You can't. Oh yeah, it's put a mark on your base for that one at least. I think to help out, so you're not going to get too confused. But cool. But yeah, it's a cool little guy. He's definitely had a better response this episode than the Shadowhawk. Might look taking one. Some of the games coming up soon. Cool. But yeah, that's Mech of the Week, guys. And we'll catch you in the outro in a second. Catch you in the flip side, guys. Right. And we're back for the outro. Thank you guys for listening to this long episode. Tom has got more and more strong opinions as the episode's been going on. So if I just
become more opinionated, yeah.
I think it's because it's a bit late. I think it gets worse.
I'm like a gremlin. Once it hits, like, we're getting close to midnight. So once it hits midnight, I'm really going to start bringing out the hot takes.
I bet we've only got a couple minutes to get this finished then. But
yeah.
Yeah, but thanks to all of you guys for the support feedback from the community. We have got an email this week from Steve, and he's informed us that 6 Americans have left the country, and also they have seen a smart car. I'm not sure if I believe that, but apparently it's true. We need some evidence of this.
This is excellent news. Thank you, Steve, for emailing in. You know, this is a great leap forward for the American people. And also, hopefully, a great leap forward for the Hexperts community, where we will create an eco-friendly environment where having a smart car is not stigmatized.
Yeah, so if you want to email in about seeing smart cars, if you're an American, please email the Hexperts at gmail.com. But talking about...
Yeah, we know Battletech and Smart Car podcast.
Are we like Mercedes, like smart cars, or are we talking about something else now? Because I'm still confused myself.
Oh no, I'm not going to mention brands unless they pay me hundreds of pounds.
So yeah, Mercedes, if you're looking to support a podcast who are into smart cars, drop us.
I will do it for less. I will do it for breadcrumbs. Truly,
you could have gone. Maybe
you want me to talk about Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes smart cars. But yeah. But talking of, obviously, if you're emailing in, next week we're going to be talking about lances, and we're going to have a lance off or a joust. Probably better to say joust, not lance off.
Yeah, lance off is a different.
We're going to get our lances. We're going to use them against each other.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great
Lewis.
Oh dear.
Lewis, I don't want to lance off with your masturbator.
You cannot.
Oh, Lewis.
Oh, Lewis.
But yeah, anyway.
Oh, please, Lewis.
Anyway. So Nathan's had the idea of next episode. So if anything goes wrong, we could blame Nathan. Next episode, we're going to put together some 3025 lances at 500 BV. We're going to go through them.
500 BV?
5,000 BV, sorry. We're going to go through them.
I'll have a very bad commando. Thank you very much.
I'll have a commando missing an arm. Commando missing his arm. We're going to talk through them, review them, rank them. We're probably going to look to play them probably the following week. But also, if you guys want to send in a 3025 5000 BV lance, we wouldn't mind seeing what you guys put together, and we can have a little talk and review of some of the lances you guys have put together. We were even going to try and bully Dom into doing one as well. He's a bit concerned. He's probably just going to put the Arnold Schwarzenegger lance in, but we'll see anyway. But yeah, so if you want to send in a lance to us, obviously drop it in the comments, send it to us on Instagram. Probably the best place to do it is to the email, which is hexpertshelpline at gmail.com. It's obviously in the notes for the episode if you do want to do that. But I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it this week. Anything else?
We'll try and get to all your emails. Unfortunately, if we don't respond to emails or we don't mention you on the podcast, is because we haven't seen it because of all of the advertisements that we keep getting offered. So we do apologise.
by Kirk, by
Dr. Pepper.
Dom's definitely sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
I refuse to talk about any others without payment. So. Much like a mercenary in Battletech, I only do it for the sea bills.
And much like mercenary in Battletech, you're wearing a string vest and no pants.
Dom, do you have a camera in my hands?
He definitely does. What do you think he spent all that Dr. Pepper money on?
I'm in my coolant vest.
Oh dear. Well, if there's nothing else, guys, we'll catch
on that bombshell.
Now we know where that Dr. Pepper money's gone. We'll catch you guys next episode with the Lance off, aka Joust. All right, catch you guys on the flip side.
Next week. Hey!
Oh, no.